Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy Workshop. And today I am focusing on the dark side of our business. So thank you for your patience. There were some challenges with the live stream. It seemed to not function. It must be the dark side. So glad that we managed to get this up and running just a few minutes late. Okay, and I am just repeating a little bit of my setup, so bear with me as I check through. I prepared some slides for today because I'm just so professional. Um, so I'm just going to make sure I've got those prepared properly. So yeah, I would love to know about your experiences of um, some of the fears that you have about your own business, and this can include whether you run your own business or whether you have you work for another company, or it might even be some of the challenges that you've had in other companies. There's no need to share the name of the company. Just feel free to share a bit about your experiences. Okay, so let me just show you quickly the agenda that we'll be going through today. So if I go right back to the beginning. Um, so this is the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy Workshop. So we're here every 2 weeks. And hello to everyone in the chat. Hello to Viviani Heller. Hello. Um, every 2 weeks, we come together and we go through these free classes to help support you on thinking about your own business, creating your own business, running your own business, and even the business that you do, the busyness that you do as part of another company owned by someone else. And this is all about a self-love approach to your dream business and your dream life. And a quick recap of the previous week. So all of these classes are available in a playlist. And so you can look back at that playlist and experience the each session. They're an hour-long session, and we go really deep diving into the different aspects of your business. And the first ones we start with are a little bit about my experience, my 26 years in software, and now a year and a half running my own business, servicing clients around the world, doing quantum psychic energy healing, clearing, readings, and so much more. And I also tell you a little bit about my self-love approach and the ways in which you can really connect in with your purpose, your North Star, your life mission, and how to focus on that to support your to support the direction and clarity of your own business. And in the previous week, we also checked in on like really getting deep and sharing each other's missions. So what we'd like to focus on in our business, and then the transformational, like the day-to-day actions that we can take to then support our business for that mission. And I will come on to some of that for myself in a moment. So today's agenda is just one slide. So you're not just going to be staring at a slide all day, which is good. Oh, and I can also, with my new little camera, I can show you Patch as well, my beautiful Papillon. He's sleeping right next to me. So that's also fun. So yeah, the topics we'll get started with are your business and its dark side, right? The fact that you are your business, that our businesses can drift into darkness and denial thereof. And we'll do some practices on helping identify some of our shadows in our business, or in short, our business shadows. And then also some solutions to help you on a regular practice check in on those fears, those dark aspects of your business, so that you can keep seeing them, feeling them, giving them your attention, direction, and then also continuing to heal them. And yeah, hello to everyone that's joined the chat. Air Energy and Caroline Allen saying, just managed to catch you, but we'll have to watch rest later. No problem at all. Hello to Caroline watching back later. Okay, so I'm just going to bring myself up to Full screen. Okay, so let's first of all connect in with this safe space that I'd like to create. Now, it might also explain why we were having challenges with the live stream and getting it up and running. So let's take a moment just to come back to our hearts. And please take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out nice and loud. And from the center of your heart, feel yourself extending light up through the top of your head, to the sky and into space, and connect up to the highest frequency of love in this universe. Connecting that cord of light into source. Remain connected into source and extend that light back down to the stars and sky and into your heart once more. And from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light downwards through the base of your spine and deep into the earth. And connect all the way down to the very heart of this planet Earth, Mother Gaia, and center so much love. And then from the center of the core of the planet, Mother Gaia's heart, extend your light cord up through the root of your spine and into your heart once more. And now surround yourself with a golden bubble of protective light, with the light of source above and the soul of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia below, and just expand out that golden bubble, protective light to surround you, all aspects of you, about 2 meters out to each side, above, below, in front and behind. And set the intention only energies and beings, entities with your highest good, with your love and compassion can see you, access you, or exist within this space or within you. All other energies, beings, and entities must leave immediately. Invite in your guides, the highest aspects of yourself, your angels, the source of love, planet Earth, Mother Gaia, and ask for their guidance at this time and protection. And through space and time, I create a protective bubble around all of us in this live stream and replay whenever this is played or you engage with this across space and time. And only inviting in beings of the highest good, love, and compassion of all into the space. And we're here today to focus on the dark side of our business and also connecting in with the solutions. Okay, so if I haven't sent you to sleep, well done, you're doing great. So let's come back to just a reminder, this slide, we're focusing on the first step, which is about your business shadow work. Hello, Catwalk13, thank you for joining. So let's first of all focus on you are your business, because this is a really important founding principle. So think about this, right? It's simpler to understand as a concept that you are your business when it's a business of one. So my business is called Heart Centered Wellness Limited, registered here in the UK, and this business has one employee, and that's me. And so it makes sense if I'm off sick, then and I'm not working, then nothing happens in my business, or very little that requires my action. It's also true that if I'm tired and if I burn myself out, maybe I'm still working, but not doing as good a job, then you can say that, my business and I are tightly intertwined. So if my health declines, my business declines. So we're quite used to those principles. Now, the opposite is also true, and we're maybe less used to these principles. So if this is me, this is my right hand is me. If I'm up in this happy, high vibration state, so I'm feeling joyful, I'm feeling loved, abundant, financially abundant, abundant in time and energy. I'm loving my work, then my vibration, my frequency is up quite high. Then also my business, it's the same. We're connected together. So you can imagine every one-to-one client session I do for my quantum psychic healing sessions, every YouTube video, every live stream I do like this, there's this interconnectedness and really across space and time between ourselves and our business. And in this respect, our business has its own consciousness. It has its own um, awareness. It's just tightly coupled with us. So if right now, just like I used to until May last year, I used to work at Amazon corporate for 8 years as a senior software manager in AI. I didn't realize then, I didn't know then that my happiness and health was intertwined with the success of my business in Amazon and also the teams that I ran. And so if I was feeling down, low vibration, tired and burnt out, then I would see the numbers, my key metrics, my key performance metrics, such as the number of applications, job applications that could be automatically reviewed with AI. I would see the performance decline. And it's fascinating, right? It is a reflection of us. So this is why underneath all of this heart aligned business alchemy that I teach and practice and live is this founding principle that I am my business, and that the more I love myself and take care of myself, the better my business performs as well. And this is proven to me over and over and over again. And I'd really encourage you to, explore this concept yourself. You know, Perhaps you'll take a little note or a little diary of the times that you've been feeling unwell or challenged or in difficulty. And so feel how, remember those times about how your business has been performing. If, like me, you receive one-to-one bookings and that's the main income through which I work, then you might see, you know, I know that times when I'm tired and burnt out, I receive less bookings. So you could imagine that, these founding principles, if you like, between that first step of you are your business is is fine, right? The challenge is um, we have shadows, right, as people. So these are themes, and this was my strongest shadow. And by shadow, I mean a fear that I kind of push down and try and hide from myself. And that shadow was lack. So it used to be more focused on things like my lack of money or fear of not having enough time and energy, not having enough time and energy and um, uh, love with and from my loved ones, all tightly coupled together with my own work previously when I worked at Amazon. And what I didn't know was that when I left that corporate job, that I didn't realize quite to the extent that having that fear of lack would change and influence the way I worked. Now starting up my own business. So feel free to put into the chat just now, if you're watching the replay, please do put into the comments as well. Um, what are the things that you're the most scared of in your business? Because we're going to deep dive into some of these. And if you have questions about them, like if you're not sure if it's a fear, please do let me know. So please do type type in the chat. Um, so one thing that clients come to me with, and sometimes it still, comes up to me as well, is lack of bookings. So if you offer a service like me, if you do any kind of, counseling, life coaching, any therapy like hands-on therapies, reflexology, Swedish massage, um, acupuncture, Reiki. You might do things in person, you might do them online, you might be a pet healer, you might be offering meditation. There's so many different things. Oh, and Laura Reed's 4612 says, fear of burnout. Thank you. That's so powerful. Um, so to give a kind of business context to the risk, so we could take Laura's example. Fear of burnout. I've experienced fear of burnout. I'm not saying it's exactly the same. None of our fears are identical. Um, when I was scared of burnout, I began to panic. So there was two waves of burnout. One was actually in my previous company, and one in this business now. So previously in Amazon, my fear of burnout was that I was working 10, 12 plus hours a day, 5 days a week, exhausted, worried about losing my job, and I would spend the weekends on the sofa recovering. And I knew that something had to give. I'd either go off sick or I'd leave the company, and just I wouldn't know what to do. I had no plan B. I hadn't come up with this business idea or really thought it through yet. And um, my behaviors changed. So I started to do things like worry more and have really high anxiety about every document I produced, every meeting that I went to. I was worried that I would burn myself out, that I'd lose my job. And so I'd react to things like I would cling on to things. I didn't like change. I didn't want people to see me looking tired. I actually had a YouTube light that I used at work so that when I was working online, it made me look less tired. I smiled a lot to try and kind of like mask it and deny the fact, so others wouldn't pick up on the fact that I was so burnt out. And I would ask for continued. I was constantly looking for people to help me. Like, who can help me with this advice? Who can help me? And I would also be really scared of taking on new projects. In fact, there was new projects that I didn't take on as a result. So that was in my old business. In my new one, um, I was I was I was getting close to burnout, this repeating cycle through November to March, so March this year, when I took on way too many bookings. So I had a flurry. I had hundreds of bookings in mid-November, and I took on about, I don't even know how many it was in a week, about 4 sessions a day for 5 to 6 days a week. And that was grueling to do. Love the work, absolutely love supporting people on their quantum psychic healing sessions, but it's far too much work. And it started to cause me, it's almost like I felt some of the heart challenges around that. My heart would ache at the end of the day because I was doing so many sessions. Um, I would, I was also doing tons of other stuff. I was staying up really late at night. My health was deteriorating. And so I began to make some big changes. I'm glad to say that now I just do 6 sessions, 5 to 6 sessions a week, not 4 a day for 6 days a week. um, so yeah, feel free to share any other shadows. Some other shadows that people have. This was mentioned to me yesterday by a client. Was fear of just lack of confidence in the offerings that they give. Maybe you've started your business as a hobby, and just like I did about almost 5 years ago now, I started doing this work as a hobby once or twice a week. And I was just really worried I wasn't really good enough. And so I had a lot of fears about that maybe I wasn't psychic at all. Maybe I was somehow making all this up. Maybe I would go into a client session, even when I got up and running in my business, I'd be worried that I know I'd do a bad job for my clients, and that they'd feel worse after a session. And so that started to change, behaviors in me. And Hi, Sue Miller. So it's really powerful to just feel into these shadows. Hi, Guinevere. Yay. Love to see you. Um, and think about this at scale, right? This is this the dark side of our business affects the whole world, right? We're all at it, right? We're all bringing our shadows to work, and so like this drifting into darkness. Now, I've been 26 years in the software industry. I don't know how many times in those in that career that I was in a meeting where we were slipping. We as a company, we as a group in that meeting, were slipping into our darkness. And it might be fear of what competitors are doing. It might be the fear of suppliers' prices going up. It might be fear of people of retention, of people leaving the company. There's all these different fears that we would have, and they all made us react in different ways. We were much less likely to face the fear, and guess what we're about to do as a group here. Um, we were much less likely to face the fear, and instead we would work around it. Deliver products that wasn't ready. Software that had bugs. Take on features that our product wasn't really capable of. Advertise that our product could do features that it wasn't actually very good at, and the list goes on. And all I can say is, now when I look back at those memories, and I encourage you to do this with yourself as we're about to go through this practice, and just encourage you to view these fears, the dark side of your businesses, with love and compassion, because we're never going to, like, we can't just do battle with our shadows and fix them. Our shadows need to be seen. And actually, these are shadows of all of humanity. And many of us are picking up on these in our own businesses. And like me, a year and a half in running my own business, very successful, well beyond my expectations, supporting people around the world. There's this feeling that I still am carrying some shadows, and some of them are from my past, and some of them are collective. So some of them are the shadows of our collective. And I feel we all play a part in this. Um, and I must admit, if I think back at some of my recent shadows, it probably would be around getting new bookings. And then I was shocked today when I sent out my newsletter just about an hour ago, showing that I'm fully booked into March next year. And then I felt really bad. It's like, oh, I've got a shadow of not having enough bookings, and then I'm feeling a shadow about the shadow. It's like, okay, John, at some point you're going to have to accept that you've got plenty of bookings, abundance of bookings, and financially abundant. And then also just keep going back. I keep going back to those underlying feelings. Okay, John, what is it you're facing? Okay, let's now face some fears. So perhaps you'd like to put in the chat, in the comments, a fear that you'd like to face with me just now. So we did create a safe space at the start, and we invited in our guides, our higher selves, and our angels. So we're in a safe space, and this is a non-judgmental space. You can share whatever feels right to you. We're going to do a short practice for 10 or 15 minutes, and we're going to face some of these shadows. We're going to ask some of the shadows that are connected into and that affect our businesses to come forwards to us. And we're going to ask just like one or two of those shadows that we're ready to perceive, to receive. Going to ask them to share a little bit with us so that we can begin some of that healing journey. And after that, I'll take us through some of the practical steps that you can do day to day to help you on your heart aligned business journey. And first, a little bit of water. And Genevieve is saying, or Genevieve, you're saying, when fear merges with people, it amplifies. Yeah, that's so true. Um, Genevieve says, I have to vacuum. I'll be back when I'm done. Wonderful. Okay, so let's just take a moment now and take a breath. So we're going to face some of these shadows, the dark side of our business. Just take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out what no longer serves your highest good, nice and loud. And just breathe as it feels right. And you can keep your eyes closed if you wish, it's up to you. And just relax your body, feeling your head, neck, shoulders, arms, your chest, waist and hips, your legs, your feet. Every aspect of you just relaxing in this moment and reminding your heart, it's safe to open. You're in a safe space just now. You're in your own golden protected bubble. And I've created, with your help, a bubble around this whole session. And that you're only going to open yourself up to your own experiences and no other beings, energies, or entities can bring in anything without your permission. And ask the highest aspects of yourself, your higher self, and your guides, your spirit guides, to step close to you now. Perhaps they'll stand by your side, stand behind you, and feel their love, their kindness, compassion. And this is a space of non judgment. And I'm going to ask for each of you to ask one of your spirit guides to bring forwards a mirror within this safe space. And we're going to work today within this lifetime. There are other classes that I offer where you can go to your previous lives, but let's focus on this life. And as your guide is standing up this full long length mirror in front of you, I'd like you to perceive yourself now in this mirror. Perhaps give yourself a little wave, say hello. Perhaps also tell yourself that you love yourself. I love you. I love you. And allow the physical aspect of you in the reflection to also allow the light aspects, your light body, the light of your heart, your chakras, the energy centers across your body, your nervous system, all light aspects of you just to light up. And ask your body to show you an area of your body where shadow exists right now within you, if you have one, a shadow within you that affects your business, it affects your work, and highlight that area with a darker patch, darker area of your body. For me, I'm being shown my solar plexus, and I just invite you to feel into any area of your body where you're seeing that darker aspect. And if it's comfortable to do so, you can touch that aspect of your body. Or have your left hand on your heart and the right hand on the area of that body. So, this darker aspect is a shadow within you. It's one of your business shadows. And as you look into the mirror and feel the energy with your hand on your body, that darker energy on your body, ask your body to show you in the mirror, where and when did this happen? When did this energy get created in this life? Perhaps show you in that business meeting, conversation with someone, email or email chain, video conference. Could have been outside of work. It could be any activity that you're performing that's work related, or even thinking about it on your days off, that work fear. Allow your body to now show you this, show you this version of you in this life where the shadow was created. And pay attention now to how that version of you is feeling. In that moment when that shadow is created, how does your body feel? How does your heart feel? And encouraging you just to allow yourself not to jump into judgment, just allow yourself to love, bringing love and awareness to the shadow. And in those interactions with others and the feelings within yourself, it may have been that sinking feeling in your heart or stomach or any aspect of you. When that shadow was created, I'd like you to now tell that shadow of you, I see you. I feel you. I'm sorry. Thank you for this experience. I love you. I release you. And reach out to that area on your body, either in the mirror or touching the area of your body, and ask if there's any lessons. You can also ask your heart, are there any lessons for me to learn from this shadow? How can I help prevent it in the future? And then when you're ready, just hold yourself. Perhaps you'll step forwards to the mirror and give yourself a big hug. So much of the time, all our shadows want, all our fears of our business want is to be seen, to be fully felt. This is well over 95% of the healing is simply the observation. And then when you're ready, you can let go. And I'd like to ask your spirit guide now just to release that mirror of you. Wonderful. Well done. Perhaps you'd like to bring yourself back to your body now and open your eyes. Just come back to this moment. Maybe drink some water, move a little. Okay. And yeah, feel free to put into the live chat the experiences you had there as you visited some of the dark side, the dark aspects. And remembering we don't need to fix it all at once. The most powerful thing is to see and to feel those shadows. Because so much of what we do is often about avoiding that seeing the full size of our shadow and addressing it. If you want to go deeper and you want to go deeper than um, what we've just done, there is the 5D Ascension classes. So they alternate with these classes every 2 weeks for Heartline Business Alchemy, and in between there's the 5D Ascension classes, and they are aligned. So last week, if you look at the replay for the 5D Ascension classes on my homepage of YouTube, you will see the class where we go much deeper, including into past lives, to be able to dive into those shadows, those fears, and face them and address them. So I hope that um, also offers you an opportunity, a practice to keep going back to, especially for these larger, more challenging experiences. And if you're interested, the shadow I faced was very much that it was that feeling of lack, of like lack of business and abundance and bookings. And I was taken to a few different places. It almost felt like when I was in group situations in my software career that I was being peer pressured into kind of ignoring the shadow, like saying, it's okay. Because I'd been in companies, including small startups, where they weren't sure if there'd be enough money to pay for our salaries that month. And we would, rather than face some of the core wounds and challenges, we would just go for the next thing. Would say, oh, we're not going to run out of money, it'll be fine. And then we would, we'd overstretch ourselves to the next big deal, project. And yet, and so it was kind of like a double whammy, right? We were still suffering from the shadow and hadn't addressed it, and then had gone on and taken on even more business, almost as a way of compensating. I was also shown, for me, that feeling down towards the bottom of my solar plexus, I that when I eat food, it kind of lines the bottom of my stomach with that feeling, and it helps suppress the feelings of lack of abundance. Um, so yeah, really interested in. Please do share in the live chat and in the comments your experiences, what shadows came up, what areas of your body do you feel those business shadows in, and any feelings you have about some of the actions that you would like to take. Okay, so let's also talk. Oh, and thank you to Caroline. You're saying thank you, John. That's very helpful and thought provoking. Thank you. And Lisa says thank you, John. Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Um, so let's also go on to some of the practical day-to-day actions that you can take. So one of the um, one of the big things that's really helped me, and I'm going to see if I can share my screen. Um, well, I know I can. I'm just going to actually share my screen. Um, is I'm going to share. See how this works, and I think it should show up in a second. Add. So remove this. Hello, it's me. And then add this. Okay. So I spoke a bit about the um, mission. So this is this thing here. Hopefully you can see this okay. Don't worry if you can't. I will read it out. Um, this is, so you're looking right now at the my it's also on the homepage of my website. So I always have this right here on the homepage of my website, and that is my mission. And the reason I have this publicly is, and we've been doing these in the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy classes for 2 weeks now. Um, is I It's also to help people hold me accountable. So I tell people what my mission is, and it is to help thousands of people, and in time millions of people, to navigate through their life journeys, through their spiritual awakenings, to empower people to find their life purpose, deepen their daily practices, embody and put into practice their physical and metaphysical abilities to help this whole world's transformation from within. And you get to choose what your mission is. You get to define your own. The reason it's public is I also want it there for my shadows, so that when I start demonstrating outwardly my shadows, and I might be avoiding things, So, for instance, for the very first few words, my mission is to help thousands. If I'm doing work that doesn't help thousands of people, and then might even be starting, with a small group of people that then go on and help others, however I approach it, if I'm not on mission, I may be slipping into a shadow. And so this is like the first way of facing some of those fears is by being really intentional, really public about it. Um, and Caroline saying, can you offer advice on how to our North Star guiding light? My best advice is to go back to the previous. Uh, Let me just see if I remove the banner, does that help you guys a bit? Oh no, it's still exactly the same. I'll put it back. So, yeah, in terms of creating your mission, which is also the other term for it is your North Star, just go back to right back to the start of the playlist for the Heart Aligned Business Alchemy, and then work through those first two sessions. And there's a whole meditation. We talk to your higher self, your soul, your spirit guides, and then start to refine that. Um, if if you want more help, then you can book me in for a session. You can either, if you just want help with that one issue, that one challenge, then book me in for a quantum psychic healing session. If you want the full range of services to actually help you get started, so I do a package of about 5 sessions called Heart Aligned Business Mentoring. Um, you can also sign up for that, and that's really to help people. Either if you're starting your business for the first time, or you've started your business and you want to be able to really get it up and running fully and get lots of bookings or bring in all the financial abundance that you're looking for. Um, so the next thing that I have in um, to offer help on, so I'm just clicking through learn more about Jon, and this is called my future press release FAQ. So we went through this in the last session, um, that's also in the playlist. We went through this in a lot more detail. So I'm looking at the areas that are supportive of to help us face our business shadows, is stating the mission very publicly, right? And then I also have, so I don't call it my business shadow, I call it my personal goal. So this text here, and I'll also read this out. So this is public, right? So anyone could just Google this and see what it is I'm facing within myself. And this is me, this is Jon, right? So I've just gone from saying my mission and then my customer goals, helping lots of people around the world. And then I say, well, that's lovely to have this North Star of a mission. It's lovely to have a goal to helping people around the world. But what are the things I truly face within myself? And so I called this my personal goal. And my personal goal is the key to achieving this scale is I put my self-love, self-care, and abundance first. I always ensure I am fully abundant in love, energy, time, money, and other resources. And that's been a huge journey for me. That's been my biggest journey. And if you like, my business never had that problem until I turned up into it, right? Until, of course, we're completely intertwined with a company of one person. Yet here I am, coming to this business with my own shadows. And so I put it up there front and center. And then I also have tenets. Um, Hello to Kiki Law 8624, gracious greetings, and Nova Nova just dropping in to say hello. Hello, thanks for coming. Yeah, so the next one is tenets. So I'm not going to read all these out, and we did go into a bit more detail in the last session as well. But in relation to the business shadows, so a tenet is really like a guiding principle or trade-offs between two guiding principles. And the trade-offs, like I'm making a statement on which trumps the other. Yeah, I feel slightly triggered using that word. So the first is my health, self-love, and self-care comes first every day over the demands of my business. I'll say that once more. My health, self-love, and self-care comes first every day over the demands of my business. And so if that's ever not true for me, then I have a problem, right? Then, so this is created, that sentence is created just for Jon, for me to face the challenges, the fears I have. In particular, what happens when I feel in lack? I work extra hours, right? I do extra things. I advertise more. I worry more. I lower my vibration. I feel more in fear. So this is the opposite. It's saying, Jon, focus on your self-love, self-care. And this is what you need to do over the demands of your business. Because ironically, your self-love and self-care is the fuel for your business. Remember, we said at the start, happy high vibration Jon equals happy high vibration business. And then also the second is about some of the filling your cup. So this is about self-love, financial abundance overflowing first, and so that I and my business are able to help thousands of people. So if I run out of money, right, I have to stop and I have to go back to software or something, which I'm never going back. Or I have to do some other work, right? So I do encourage you, take a look at these. Don't just, I mean, you can copy and paste mine, but it's much better for you to reflect on them and develop them yourself. And then there was a little bit more I had a bit further down about some of my gaps to my mission and goals. So there's a couple of things here. One is about, this is really acknowledging the shadow and saying, I'm adjusting to my new life and identity since I left the software industry. There's another one about learning to expand my reach and to nurture people. And this is one of the things I'm doing right now. I'm nurturing you to get used to working with me. And then also like closing some of the gaps. Now, actually, recently, removed, maybe I should put it back. I'll reflect on that. I removed my gap or shadow about lack. Maybe it should come in again until it's finally gone. I also have kept putting my myself first, filling my heart with joy and filling my heart with such love or self-love. So that's fun. So I do recommend you take a look at that. You'll see there's links in the description or just browse that on my website, jonbinnie.com. I'll also just put it in the live chat because the live chat should be recorded as well. There it is. And so going back to this, there's also another really cool mechanism that I developed. It was a little bit inspired by, this is something called monthly reflections. So we're down at the second last star in that list. So my monthly reflections are really a way of me taking all aspects of my life and business at once and then reflecting on them each month. And what I do is you can tell I enjoy talking a lot, right? So talking about all these things is hugely powerful. It's great to get out your throat chakra, like off your heart, get it out of your body. So this energy isn't trapped within you. And what I do in my monthly reflections is I share it, and it's not called a business reflection, right? I think the title varies a little bit each month. And I describe it at the end of each month. I describe it along the lines of my monthly reflections in business, my dream life, and latest updates. And what I'll do in that moment, so it's in my calendar as a regular reminder, so that I never forget. And I do it just towards the end of the month, so we're not that far off the next one. It might even be this week. And what I do is I do a little video, and I imagine that I'm talking to myself. And although I'm sharing with the world very publicly, uh, I share really almost every single thing, except for obviously I don't share client data or anything private. I also keep my financials, the numbers, private. Although there are some indicators that I give, some hints at that. So, you know, you can like do some simple maths and see how much I charge for a session. You can see I'm fully booked and I do about 6 a week, and like it's not that hard to work out. Um, Also, that my business in the UK reached a threshold where I have to pay value added tax. Currently at 17.5, or if the business keeps earning more, up to 20% of all income. So those are like some indicators, but so I'll talk at those kind of levels. But coming back to shadows, the most important thing that I share are some of the challenges. So I talk about how I feel, right? I talk about how happy and healthy I was. And if you looked back at last month, I was tired, right? What was October? October was Halloween. And the more I get into this work and the more I connect with my Scottish witch ancestry and past lives, I realized it's starting to become like this kind of end of year, uh, seasonal aspect of my work. I had a lot more sessions around Halloween and more collaborations, and I was visibly more tired. And I remember saying that in the reflections. So if you watch my monthly reflections back, those videos, you'll see me talking frankly about how I'm feeling, how is my energy level, how's my self love, and talk about that trade off of filling my own cup and facing my own shadows, and also how it's affecting me. You know, when I was more tired, I would say that I wasn't able to produce uh, video content of quite the same high vibration. I produce less video content. That's not necessarily a bad thing for me if you're hyper productive like me. And some days some day I share every day, and some days it's like 5 videos plus live streams. Um, but just being really open and honest. Like I talk to the camera like it's a mirror because I don't have a boss. And as much as I tried to promote my wife to being my boss, she's like, "Why are you asking me these things? I mean, you can share what you want, but you're your own boss, so you have to like figure these things out." And it's like, right. So if anything, you guys are as close as I have to a boss, and so I just share. I share about how's my happiness, my health, my self love levels, and I also share about, I might touch a little bit on, finances. Has it been a good month? Does it feel good? Talk about my shadows of lack and fear, and then also talk about, the achievements and the lessons that I've learned and what I'd like to do differently going into next month. And then finally on that point, and as we kind of segue, we're coming up to the end, and as we segue into some of the ways to prioritize your work, is I have this really simple practice, right? Because none of this is rocket science. And that is that if you just ask yourself, ask your heart, does this feel joyful? Do I enjoy doing this? Because do you know how you get to joy, right? It's not just some random emotion that like, oh, I happen to be joyful now. You can kind of fake joy if you like, and you can try and keep up for a little while in happiness and pretend everything's okay. But you know what happens, of course, in your life and business, it'll drop, right? You'll get pulled. You'll have a kind of a dark tower moment. Everything will collapse so that the fear can be faced, acknowledged, and then reborn. So the more time you can spend in joy, uninterrupted, without these dark tower moments and kind of collapsing back into your fears, it's okay for the fear to surface itself and to say, okay, I'm still here. Are we healed yet? Are we done? Or is there more work to do? Is there more healing to do? And what actions do I need to do to face it? Then just focusing on the joy really helps you have this like really key barometer, if you like. And perhaps that's something I should do in my monthly reflections, to have like a joy meter. John's joy meter. Um, and I encourage you to do the same. Ask your heart each day, how joyful is this really? And I feel this goes to the heart of some of the core wounds that we have in our global businesses, is that somehow we've taught ourselves that we should sacrifice joy to make money. And my argument is, it is your joy that makes you money. And actually, without those falling into kind of the pits of your stomach and shadows and the dark side of your business, outside of those, when you're in your joy, and the longer you're staying in joy and having like a regular shadow practice, so perhaps you'll do what we did today once a month at least, ideally about once a week, feeling into those shadows, checking the pulse of it. Oh, I have a shadow of lack of bookings. Okay, how do I feel about that now? What do I need to do to face it, to feel it? I see you, shadow. Come out of the darkness. It's time to address it, to address the elephant in the room. The more you do that, the more you will attract more abundance. And that's exactly what happened to me and keeps happening with me every time. Every time I fall into that shadow of lack, I take time out, I rest and receive. It might be time on the sofa, walks in nature, walks with my dog Patch. Oh, I forgot to show Patch. I can show it on the camera now. There he is. Say hello, Patch. I'll pretend to stroke him there at a distance stroking Patch. Um, I think he's groaning away in the background, maybe moaning about me talking about business. Um, so yeah, finally, that last segue is really into um, your to-do list, prioritized by your joy and your mission. So I do have a to-do list. Let me just see if I can share it, because I did create a version that I think is okay to just at least flash up on screen that doesn't have any client details in it. Give me a moment, because I feel it'd be really powerful to share with you. And it's really simple, right? You just feel with your heart, and you'll see there's another of our previous sessions where we talk about ways to work with your heart, to ask, what should I focus on next, and how much joy does that bring me? And it really helped me prioritize and make some decisions. In fact, I was just following up on some of those this week with my small heart aligned business mentoring group of up to 5 people. So in this to-do list, you could literally just create yourself a list of the things that come into your awareness that you feel that you should do. And then really what you're doing is you're challenging yourself to order them, prioritize them by the amount of joy that they will bring you, or if it's something that's already in flight, that it brings you. Um, and yeah, this looks okay to just quickly share. And it's really just to give you an idea. You might struggle to read the text. Let me just bring it up. It's a little Google Sheet, and it's actually something I use in the business mentoring I offer as well. Let me just make sure it's showing for you guys. There, we remove you. Hello. Add you. There we go. You get the gist of it. It's a list of things. I have priorities on the left-hand side, which align with my mission. So it says help more people, help more people. Row 19 downwards is empower people. Row 27 downwards is deepen practice. Row 33 is self-care. These are all then topics. So I've like adventures and think big, website and apps, explore new offerings. These are like the different categories that align with helping more people and laterally empowering people. I constantly have my mission. I constantly remind myself of my mission. So it's at the top of my to-do list. So I'm ever not sure about something. It's like, oh, I've just typed in something new to do. How does that really align with my mission? And then I just do this really simple practice, and I did it recently. So this to-do list is actually a little bit old. It's a copy of my actual to-do list, and I removed a lot of all of the client references that it had. do a meditation for someone, in there, I say things like, if it feels joyful, heart, does this feel joy? Is it going to bring me joy? Is it align with my mission? And when the feelings feel happy and a high vibration, then I bubble up to the top. And, at the moment, or back then, I think it's actually moved up since, I have spirit guide meditations to develop your psychic abilities. So this is about helping more people. And although my current meditations do some of that, this is more focused on the psychic superpowers. This was one thing that's been kind of going up and down a bit, and eventually it'll get to the top and it will get done. So I tend to prioritize this each day, and it's in my browser. I do look at it each day, and I check in it and go, okay, John, how does that feel? Does it feel joyful? Okay, so we are at time. Thank you so much for coming along today. And I hope this encourages you to face your fears more, and to really acknowledge the dark side of business, because, business is doing a lot of harm to people, to us. We're doing it to ourselves as a human race and to our planet and all the living things. And these are other areas that I've gone into in my business as well. Is it's one of the reasons that I've experimented, for instance, with chat GPT powering my website chat and AI John, um, and then turned it off because I know I can see how much computer resources and environment cost that it has, as well as the money, right? So these are some of the dark sides as well to feel into. Um, but yeah, I hope it helps you. If you're watching the replay, please do comment about your experiences, and remember that many other people will come back and watch this, and I hope they benefit from it too. Also, thank you to everyone that's come along in the live stream today. So we will be back in 2 weeks. Please do take a look at the description of these live streams. Does set out the next agenda. I would need to check myself what topic it's likely to be on. It may be on around decluttering. So which is linked to this, but it's really decluttering and healing wounds and activating our scaling capabilities. So it'll be along those lines. So do keep an eye out for that. And I will bring our session to an end. I'd like to thank our guides, our angels, Source, Gaia, every soul that's participated in today's session. And please do remain in your individual protective bubbles for as long as you choose, as I close the session down and return to Source or never return here again. Please do get plenty of rest and take good care of yourself, and be gentle with yourself. If you come up with some difficult, challenging shadows, whether it's in this job, your future job, or past, please do your very best to see it through the eyes of your heart, through the eyes of love, and really look after yourself and nurture yourself. We all make mistakes, and I'll likely make mistakes in the future. I just love going on this journey, to transparently face our fears together, and we all know the whole world needs it. So thank you for coming. Thank you for your kind comments. Thank you to Caroline was saying, can't thank you enough for sharing. Laura Reed says, great class, thank you. Viviane says, thank you. And Viviane also says, thank you. And thank you to everyone thank you to Nova Nova and everyone that's come along today. It's been such an honor to support you. I'll be back in 2 weeks with this class. If you're interested in the business mentoring service, please do take a look at my website. And that's the paid version. If you want to keep going with these free classes, of course, please do continue. I'll never stop. And check out the playlist. So the playlist of all these classes, these free classes, are available in the description of this video, and they're set as a YouTube playlist /course. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Take good care of yourselves. Face those shadows. Face those shadows. Sending love. Bye.